Hopefully this works well for microphone quality. Um, yeah, I know. Testing, testing. Yeah, it works. Cool. Sorry that this live stream is on Christmas Day, but I felt kind of called to kind of put out a message and be more consistent with putting out um, what I feel into the world. I have this channel. I built it up. I might as well, cultivate it as much as I can. Right now, I'm eating papaya before Christmas dinner, papaya with honey, and sometimes as like an influencer, especially in the holistic like health space, initially you feel inclined to be more raw vegan and like I only eat bananas, like, and it's hard to come out with like, okay, maybe I eat more things than just that. But my channel is based around fasting. So now what's kind of being called to me is like eating once every like 2 days, once every 3 days, and just kind of continuously doing that. Because apparently that's what like the first humans were doing. They were kind of like eating more sparingly whenever food came around once every 3 days. So inadvertently fasting. So there was no mystery to like what happens on like a 7 day fast. They were doing it naturally because they couldn't find food. Um, so I'm here in Las Vegas. I'm kind of my friend's place right now. We're doing a little friends Christmas. Um, I started the business out here, but I'm still here, kind of like cultivating that. But I wanted to talk about the process of dry fasting and how you going from 1 day to 21 days and what it feels like and purifying the body and what I'm. Do you know when you have like a really hardcore experience and you kind of process it like months later? Sometimes that's what's happening to me. I think where um, you can purify the body in a way where you kind of are more grateful for it later on, where you kind of forgot like, oh man, I really was blocked up, or and man, that really was like more of a hellish experience I was going through like consistently. Um, I think dry fasting is the most natural thing can do. It's the most detoxifying thing you can do. So if you ask me if can you dry fast with a certain thing, in the very least case, it's going to be dry fast a very little amount and then make it longer because you're doing the most natural thing you can do, which is dry fasting. You know, how's it going, Sammy? 180, 186. Um, so so I kind of figured out like by going a little farther in the dry fasting, I found out how you can heal stuff. It's literally just that. How do I, you know, and creating a setting for yourself to do so. And that's the education. Like, can you figure out that puzzle to set up a setting for you to heal? Create, nurture like this, a good environment for you to actually achieve this thing. Because you're in this physical world and maybe you're trying to solve something and this is the riddle. How do you do it? Um, and this video, I kind of want to talk about like how you feel. Luckily, I'm actually able to eat, so I'm eating now. I'm not fasting. So I'm sure people will reference this video as the papaya video because I've never eaten on camera before. This is like me practicing not giving a crap, I guess maybe. Um, so day one obviously is very easy. Like everyone fasts, 1 day fast. And it's like, oh, I love fasting. Why don't I fast more? Day two, that's when the bacteria kind of starts crying at you, um, and um, and you start getting a little bit more hungry, and you're kind of getting over like a little bit of hunger pains, but you're like, oh, I'm fasting, I can still do this. You're kind of fully in ketosis. You feel like anti-inflammatory. You're a little pissed off. On day three, you're like, okay, I kind of can't wait for this fast to end. Like 70% of you is like, I kind of can't wait for this fast to end so that I can just like drink my coconut water. Why am I even doing this fast? Is this going to do anything for me? I'm not going to cure anything, you know? Once again, eating papaya, newcomers come. I'm going to make that announcement every 2 minutes. And then day four of a fast. So I'm going, for the people who don't know, I'm going from 0 to 21 days dry fasting. What happens? Because in my opinion, day 21 is you reset the body completely. Everything is screwed. All the good and bad bacteria got deleted. All the parasites, the worms are gone. So all these parasite cleanse people send you, they're not doing anything really. Like maybe like temporary relief, you know, where they clean out the bowels and you're like, I found a tapeworm. Like, the real deal is dry fasting, and you, if you found my page, you have done your damn research. You are following a random guy without the DR in his name that knows about something that's very obscure, right? Um, but I think that this is the most original. I think this is the most natural, the most. I think this is the most important topic in the world, is detoxification of your temple and how to do so. So right now we're on day 4 of a dry fast, and that's when you're like, you're earning it. That's kind of like a day where you earn the fast, where you're like, I got past day 3, which is pretty shitty, and on day 4, I feel a little bit better. Like you have less bacteria screaming at you. You feel more squirming in like the sexual reproduction area, where it's kind of like it wants to. If you have STDs or STIs, they want to survive. So now they're on the way to dying right now. So they want. Sometimes you can get like aroused at that time in the fast. I know. Sorry for the kids that are in the room, but things want to survive, so they'll go to the nipple of the female. That's why you get, you know, breast cancer, because that's where milk is released, and then the prostate for the male, because it's like, okay, we're ready to go to the next person. Come on, like, get horny and do something, you know. So day 4, you kind of feel like some squirming around in the reproductive area, and your skin a little bit. Things are kind of like, oh, this person's really doing this thing. This is longer than 3 days, you know. So I'm a parasite guy. Like everything, I think can be resolved by parasites, unless you have a compound fracture, or if you cut out an organ, then not so lucky. So day 5 we're on now. That's a beautiful day when you're kind of like, that's when you get confirmation that you're not crazy. Day 5 is when you're like, okay, this is actually doing something. I am definitely I'm feeling something spiritual. I'm feeling something very anti-inflammatory. I'm feeling good again. Like, oh, wow, like I had so much inflammation. What was I thinking? Day 5 on the dry fast is kind of like that for most people. Unless you have a lot of mucus or inflammation in your body and you're kind of getting really dehydrated. That's the only way day 5 is not like that. And that's when preparing for a fast with iodine or something anti-inflammatory is beneficial, because then you're not dealing with that on day 5, precious day 5. It's so hard to get to day 5. You know, I've done these 23-day dry fasts, but like I recognize it's hard to get to day 3 and day 5. You know, this is not an easy thing to do. Every day is a day. Every day is very, very valuable. Well, try not to look at the questions because I can get kind of carried away. But I am seeing everybody for sure. Yeah, so back to 2024, fasting will definitely help with eczema, which keeps me up at night. Because, yeah, I mean, a few things I can throw at you for like eczema, like obviously fasting's not a cure, but like get to know something like, you know, high dose iodine. Some people hate to use the word ivermectin, but like they like that as well, because it's parasites on your skin that are kind of being purged out by your immune system, you know. So you're constantly detoxing. That's what eczema is. It's kind of like your body being like, oh, we're curing it over and over again, when you're really not, because it's parasites finding a way to embed in tissues that your immune system cannot find, you know. So you can get that under control with a low carb diet that's not spiking your blood sugar to feed the parasites, something that's anti-parasitic like iodine. Doing something like niacin, the flush kind, you know, once every 2 weeks to kind of like give your body a flush, saunas, exercise, and then like NAC, I like to do N-acetylcysteine, I like to do at 6 p.m. every day for people with eczema. Sorry, just a quick little question. We're on to day 6 of a dry fast. Day 6 is kind of like, okay, now that I got the gist of day 5, like this is a beautiful process. You're just still living your life, and you're kind of like, you're processing detoxification, and you're kind of seeing life for what it is. Like, oh my God, why are there so many restaurants? Why is everyone so addicted to food? That's when like you start to get to like the awareness of how addicted people are to food around you. And look at me as I'm eating papaya. And what is food? You know, that is the only question that I'm completely puzzled on, really. Like, I, what is food, you know? Now that I've done like these really long fasts, food is energy, right? But people define energy very, very strangely. You know, some people can literally see. I eat meat, by the way, sometimes. People can literally see like the purpose of some animals as just food, you know, and it's like you see the purpose of their life just to be food, just to be energy, like that cannot be right, you know, um, and like their perspective is convinced of it. Um, but you can also like see every single being, every living thing as energy and not food, and try to survive on air and electricity. Like Nikola Tesla developed free energy back in the day, and he got killed for it. You know, several people have done so since Nikola Tesla. So free energy exists for sure. I would bet all my money on that. So if you think about why if free energy exists, then why wouldn't free fuel for the human exist? And how can we kind of like revamp our bodies in order to receive free fuel? You know, so we don't need anything. We're not like dependent on things. Anyway, day 7 we're on now, dry fasting, day 7. Um, Day 7 is kind of like, okay, psychologically, that's when you're like, who the hell told me to dry fast? I do not need to dry fast. I need to stop fasting. Um, this is crazy. I can't believe I'm even doing this. Like it feels like you're lost out at sea. And why should I be doing such a thing that's hardcore like this? Because, you know, people like often say, go with your gut. They say like on a big decision, and obviously you fast when you go with your gut, you know, you sleep on it. But on day 7, your gut really tells you at that point to break the fast because they're dying completely, and it's telling you like you won't have us to think for you if you fast beyond day 7. Is essentially what's happening on day 7. So since that's happening, it can manipulate your mind, you know. So your mind does thinking, and then your gut does thinking. So your bacteria does a lot of thinking. For those of you who do not know that out there, it's very, very obvious, especially in your fast, that the bacteria does a lot of the thinking. And you can get intuition that way. Sometimes it's very positive thinking, sometimes it's very negative thinking. And on day 7, it's like, hey, break the fast. This is not for you. You know, we'll do this again in the future. And that's usually what I hear. Like 90% of the time, we'll do this again in the future. 10% of the time, people are like, we're going forward. I'm like, let's go. Because it's the matter of days that matter. You know, like your body's every hour your body's going through intense detoxification. So when you're on day 8, you're on day 8. You know, when you're earning every day. Sometimes I'm on day 19. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm on day 19. Like, yes, thank God. Like I'm not on day 2. You know, it's just like it's so hard to get there. You know, so day 8 is kind of like the beginning of the real parasitic uh, eradication. So now like day 7 kind of marks like, so since your bacteria in your gut's like, okay, we don't need to fast any longer, that marks the big cure, how the big parasites get cured. You know, nothing really gets touched before day 7 of a dry fast. And people are like, oh, I healed this and that. I'm like, you didn't. Like I've done like hundreds of fasts, like, and I had like every single thing, and I have over 1,000 clients. You didn't touch much before day 7. You can heal the small stuff and regenerate the body, and it is very good for you, yes. But after day 7, that's when you're healing the big stuff, you know. Um, so, so like pretty much like cancer, tumors, like HIV, like HSV, um, you can cure like Lyme disease and anything beyond that because your body's shrinking. You are going from 180. I'm 185 pounds, and I go down to 123. You know, I get 60 pounds in one fast in a matter of 21 days. You're shrinking. Everything's shrinking, and along with that goes the parasites. Day 9 is a lot like day 8, but you can wake up kind of like breathless, like as if like you're catching air. And that's when you start getting taught by the body what breathing really is. Like a lot of people out there are like, hey, this is like breath work, breath work. Can I sell you my whole course on breath work? That's, excuse me, you get sold on your own course in breath work on day 9. And that's by you, you know, learning how to breathe through the nose, elongating the breathing through the nose. So when you elongate the breathing through the nose, the heart rate starts to drop. And when you do it again, it drops even more. So you can be at 80, and I can watch my like my blood reader, my BPMs go down to like 60. What I can watch them go down to whatever I want them to be, you know. But I can also elevate them, but through hyperventilation through my mouth, and raise my blood pressure, right? So these things can be your tools, you know. And if you have headaches, which can occur because parasitic mucus is leaving the brain, close one nostril and like target, localize that area, right? And then and so you pretty much want to get good at sleeping with your mouth closed at that point. Get outside. After day 7, you really want to like have your head pretty much like always outside when you're fasting. This is a serious thing we're doing. I can't believe I'm going through all the days. I'm gonna hit up one question here. Okay, Jerdidi says, does it help with heavy metals like lead? Yes, I think that fasting helps. You know, helps with heavy metals like lead because you're a water being, you're a salt water being, and all of your tissues get rejuvenated during the fast. You know, that's my logic. Is like iodine like leaches the fluoride from the pineal gland, but when you're fasting, you can really purify all the fluids, especially the lymphatic fluids. Along with that, you're breathing out the heavy metals too. Safar 1041 says he wants to know about the part of clarity of mind and spiritual aspect. Huh. A lot of good questions actually in here. Damn. Maybe I'll just make this one 1 day through 10 days, and the next live stream I'll do 10 days through 21 days, and I'll just answer questions for the rest of this live stream, okay? So the next live stream will be 10 through 21. So I still haven't answered day 10 yet, and I'll get to that. This guy Zavar says, I want to know about the clarity of mind and the spiritual aspect. So, I mean, to me, that is the coolest thing that I unexpectedly found on dry fasting, which was that I'm like, well, it does make sense. All these sages, these spiritual sages have fasted, and you can inadvertently find spirituality through purifying your body. And you know, it can be a forgotten art. You can purify your body and then forgot how to do it again. And you just gotta. And I just know I can be stupid about it and just go into a fast. And now I've re-achieved my anti-inflammatory state, and now I'm back to my genius self, which I'm not my genius self right now, but on a fast I certainly am, where I'm thinking very, very clearly, you know. And with that, you're more powerful, you know, like you can realize certain things, you can have certain epiphanies, you can solve things that are very important, you know, like it's really hard to explain because none of your tissues are blocked up and your lymphatic system's clean and your brain has more exposure to electroconductivity from your nervous system, right? So the clarity of mind, and I often recommend to my poker playing friends and my traders friends to fast while they're working to have an advantage on their competitors who they're trading against, who they're playing poker against, because you can see more, you're aware more. It's hyper awareness. That's exactly what fasting is. It's hyper awareness and hypersensitivity. Like if I am fasting a long period of time in any area, I'm gonna pick up a lot more information when I go deeper on the fast on the area that I'm in and people around me, just like scents and notes and colors and stuff like that. Like literally, fat people lose their sense of color. You know, I mean, like that's just like that's something that actually happens. But when you are detoxing, you start to clean out your iridology, which is the fibers in your eyeball, and your eye color can change. To answer somebody else's question, Sammy 1AD6. Ace Edmonton says, can you explain? Sorry, it's being weird. Can you explain why, even after day 4, I couldn't sleep more than 3 hours and made me feel like a zombie and it was gonna die on the fast? Yeah, so sometimes your body is not acclimated to the fasting process, and let me take this off here. Your hormones are kind of like out of whack, or you could be entering the fast with very low mineral inventories. So like that's the thing, that biofilms are being spread around the world. So it makes your body feel that the inventory of your minerals is very low, and so it freaks out anytime you do something that's arduous, like working out or fasting. Okay, so sometimes if you have allergies or eczema, or like you're snotting when you're having sugar foods, that's showing that you have biofilm that's preventing absorption, and that's gonna imbalance your hormones. But also, being in a humid environment where there's fresh flowing air and it's cool, that also calm you down as well. Just being calm, cool, minerals high, no inflammation going into the fast. Then you're going to be like, well, I can't believe I was not being able to sleep on day 4. But oftentimes it can be normal. You just have to like just go with it. If you want it enough, like sometimes I don't get sleep on day 3 or day 4, and if it doesn't let up, then it's time to break the fast and do the things I said just before. Dove Cool says, I'm thinking of doing a 15-day fast, and the last time I fasted was like 2019. Crazy here. 2019, and it was a 6-day fast. Okay, yeah, that's yeah. So people can get very they can get very confident on getting back into fasting because they're just thinking about it and like, why wouldn't I be able to do it? It's kind of it's the same thing about me. I'm a wrestler. Like if I were to get back, I know I've said that, I thought this so many times. If I got back into wrestling or jujitsu when I'm on the mat, it's another thing than me thinking about it, about how good I am at it. I'm going to get wrecked, initially by people who are better than me. So like you can think you're a lot better at something if you haven't done it in a long time. So just ease into it, and then you're gonna, be even better than you were before. Like just sometimes we can get a little, you know, overzealous, I would say. I mean, I'm definitely guilty of that. So, um, okay, cool. Answer those questions. Answer those questions. Seeing some cool names. Um, but yeah, right now I'm trying to kind of like grasp how I want to do the social media thing because I was kind of turned off by it. Like I think most of you guys are. For a bit, like, should I grow this thing? Is there a healthy way to do this? So I think I'm going to do this in a more healthy format. Um, which is like more, um, I'm not like pitching or selling anybody anything. It's just like more my life. I'm putting what I want to do, just authenticity, just what I want out there, you know, and make it more of a subscriber based, partially, depending on what people want for the hardcore stuff and actually how to heal, and doing the longer fasts. Joe Fernandez says, what's the best prep the day prior and the day of beginning the fast? Preparing for the day prior to a long fast, I say would be to do, I would do, it could be many different things. Some people do enemas the day before the fast as well, but I usually just do raw vegan smoothies, liquids, and I do like 6 to 8 ozonated magnesium capsules. I make sure I have, my daily electrolytes, and then at nighttime, I'm making sure I have at least 3 liters of water that day as well. I'm not doing the salt flushes anymore; they're just too hardcore. And then the next morning after that, I do 6 enemas in a row. Okay, and they're all 72 ounces of water, and I'm massaging my belly with it. So like as far as I know, I've gotten everything out of myself. And now my body's just gonna, just deplete the inventory. It's just going to deplete the inventory until what it wants to have on board is left. You know, that's how I can most logically put it. Yeah. So this person says, "Can I get better vision by fasting?" Absolutely. That's one thing that I've been able to do. When you're fasting, you can see your eyes turn whiter and whiter and whiter, and your teeth turn whiter, and you're like, "Oh, okay. Well, my eyes are obviously cleaning, so why wouldn't my vision get better?" Your lymphatic system is definitely represented in your eye color. Sorry for me talking fast. I just want to get to all the questions. Um, okay. Hey, brother. I was thinking. Oh, Salah. Good to see you, brother. I almost skipped over because it was like a paragraph. Um, was just thinking about you and you're sharing the Tesla's diet. Maybe by spacing out meals 12 hours, he was microdosing fasting and didn't really need a longer fast. Hmm. Yeah, I think that. So I I posted. I was curious about this because I looked at, obviously Jesus had his own diet, and Tesla, I see him as very intelligent. Um, He probably was working all day long and didn't even have time to eat. Can't you guys imagine him being like that? Where it's just like, working. I'm figuring out free energy for everybody and solving gravity. Like I just don't have time to eat. So like I think that he was just always just lighter. I feel it just makes sense to me, like that they were both like on lighter meals. Um, but I do see it mostly like 1 to 2 meals a day at the very most, 1 meal a day, and at the very least like 1 meal every 3 days, every 2 days. Um, and then obviously, yeah, I think it was definitely spacing out the meals. But the one thing I really liked about the two people, is that they both never got full. They're never getting full from their meals. That's hard to do. That's separating spirit from animal, by the way. So that's what it's all about. Like if you can just never let yourself get full, you have control over the animal, the beast within, because that's the bacteria that's like more. We want to colonize his body to the point where we are not going to die at all, because the opposite of that is fasting, right? And that's how they die. Um, yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. 2 more clips, short form. Thank you, Salah. I need more advice from you. um, okay, cool. I got through all the questions, and now I'm gonna go through the last thing that I said, which was day number 10. Because I'm gonna keep this one short. So day number 10 is double digit time, celebration time for me. And I'm always just, because that's like the halfway point, and it is kind of scary to be on like I've only done half of this fast, half of what's required to heal the body completely. But day 10 is really psychologically just encouraging, um, and you also just want to be like, it's kind of like a long distance runner. You're like, I'm, I'm halfway through this marathon. I'm not going to get defeated. I've accomplished something, but I need to get in the zone. And that's the thing I've recently told a client was, you need to find your zone. You need to get into the state of mind that's stoic, that's gray almost. And that's where I get to when I'm fasting, is like, um, I just kind of like, not that I don't have a sense of humor. I just get more gray, where I just want to like, get I just want to like be just stoic and relaxed, and my body and mind is everything is calm. I'm constantly aware of what energy I'm exuding, if it's by watching something on my phone, or if I'm like laying on the wrong side, if I'm not in an energetically conductive, position, or if I'm like, did I do my 20 push-ups today, and jumping jacks? Did I look at the sun for like a minute at least, because the sun's entering your brain and detoxifying all the liquids in there. Am I moving around my jaw and my back, and like, it's literally proven. Like, the sports that live the longest are pole vaulting and gymnasts, because they stretch, and they're allowing space for oxygen to be breathed into those spaces, and that's what you're doing and accomplishing on a fast. You're allowing oxygen to be breathed into those spaces by reaching and having strength at your endpoints, like where you're just, what I'm saying? You're strong at your farthest, most far-reaching positions, um, and you accomplish that with the fast as well, and you live the longest by doing that. So get rid of the toxic lymph, re-enter the oxygen to your extremities, allow your body to be your body, and that was my greatest motivation if I had one. I don't want parasites on my body. I want my body to be my body, you know because I really just didn't want to. I couldn't enjoy my life, I would say. Um, so yeah, day 10 was like that, and by day 11, a lot of the Eastern, like Russian people, say that you cure things on day 11, and so that's always a thing. So that's another psychological level where people stop fasting. They stop on day 7 and they stop on day 11. 3, 7, 11, and then when the next live stream we do is going to be a lot more interesting, because we're going to go into some really intense things, because this is the big leagues. This is the hardcore stuff. This is like how you really cure things. All the stuff before day 10 is like little cute and cuddly stuff. But when you get through, like, the valley of the shadow of death, which is pretty much day 4 to day 17, where you're coughing and spitting up grime and like lymphatic stagnation and just like disgusting stuff, and like the demonic film is coming out of you essentially, and you have to like scrape your tongue, and it's just like it's horrendous. Okay, and okay, so I already answered that question. Cool. Anyway, much love for all you guys. I just want to do a quick one, and then I'll do another one soon. So this one was for the first 10 days of a dry fast and what I usually experience in layman's terms. Anyway, have a great Christmas, and hopefully you guys enjoy your day. Peace.